Congrats on hitting level 60. You might be thinking,
What do we do now? What do you mean? Now we can finally play the game.
so now that you can finally play the game, here are 7 things you can work on now that you're level 60. Number 1, collect rare items and mounts. Mounts like the stratholm deathcharger, which has a notoriously low drop rate, or the winterspring tiger, which is one of the most difficult grinds in WoW Classic. If you are Alliance, there are tons of things for you to do. In addition to just mounts, there's also some really OP PvP trinkets that you can go seek out. Things like the Tidal Charm, which is kind of hard to get. Other items that are quest rewards like the Nifty Stopwatch, Luffa, Skull of Impending Doom, Linken's Boomerang, and more are all very, very helpful in PvP and are more items that you can go seek out now that you're level 60. And speaking of gear to seek out now that you're level 60, number 2, gathering your Pre-Raid BiS is going to be something else you're going to want to do. I'm going to put a link in the description. That's going to link to all of the Pre-Raid BiS gear for all the different classes. These are the items and enchants to go after to maximize your character for a given phase. Now, we're in phase 1 right now as this video's release, but we're soon going to have more gear available as we progress through different phases. And it's super important to know which items to go after, because sometimes you might think an item's really good for your character, and it turns out that, oh, that's actually not the best, and so you kind of just disregarded that weapon slot or whatever slot, and now you know that that's just an upgrade, and you should still seek out a different item. So having that BiS list is helpful. It's like having a compass, letting you know which items you should be looking for, which ones you should be hunting for, and it'll be very important for maxing out your character's potential. And one very important item for maxing out your character's potential is actually number 3, your mount, specifically getting your epic mount. Now, this can really help, especially if you're on a PvP server. It's going to help you get away from people who are hunting you down, or hunt down your enemies if you're the one who's doing the chasing. Having that extra increased movement speed is going to be super helpful, definitely in a PvP situation. At a cost of about 900 gold schmeckles, which we all know is quite a hefty amount of gold, it's going to be kind of tough, so it could take some time. Funny enough, though, it will also help you farm gold through gathering. Speaking of which, one of the most popular ways to get gold is through number 4, maxing out your professions. Now, maxing out your professions could actually cost you some gold, depending on what they are. Leveling up your mining or herbalism skills, obviously that will not cost you gold, but will bring in some gold. But things like engineering can be very costly and not very profitable. But there's other professions such as, alchemy or tailoring that have some profit there. Tailoring, you can turn that fell cloth into moon cloth. Alchemy, you can do all sorts of things and sell those potions, the elixirs, leatherworking, fishing. These are all ways you can start making some gold. Enchanting as well. And of course, having that epic mount is going to help you with mining and herbalism, since nodes are spread out typically, and you can get from node to node faster if you have an epic mount. So make sure to max out your professions to get yourself another way to make some gold. It's likely to save you, and it's likely that you saved on gold while you were leveling. You didn't learn every skill while leveling, just the essentials. So now that you're max, it's time to go back and do number 5. Learn all your skills, and if you're melee, level up any weapon skills you haven't yet. Now, the reason you want to do this, of course, is because you want to have all the abilities your class was meant to have. Things like Eagle Eye, if you were leveling as a hunter and you skipped it, you can go back, get that ability. Could be helpful for scouting things around. Might have more gold lying around, so you can go ahead and learn, Eye of the Beast. If you think that one's useless, well, now you can have that just in case. Or if you're a warrior, maybe you're going to want to go grab Mocking Blow just because you want to have that available. So go back, go buy every skill you can. Now that you got a little bit more gold, now that you're level 60. Also, depending on what phase it is, there are also books that give you access to higher ranks of spells, and you can go start hunting those down. Things like Eviscerate rank 9, that's going to drop an Upper Blackrock Spire. So make sure to do that when that's available. Speaking of spells and abilities, it also might be time to get some different ones. Number 6, make sure to respec. Now, typically, you were going through 1 through 60, you had a leveling build, you just hit level 60, so it's time to actually respec to your end game build, whether that's PvP or PvE. For example, let's say you're a hunter. Typically, it's best to level a hunter as Beast Mastery, but once you're level 60, you're going to want to go respec either Marksmanship for PvE or a survival marksman hybrid for PvP. Or, you know, it could be something else. Maybe you want to have some fun, make up your own build now that you're level 60. The same can be said for AoE mages, for example, who want to switch away from a non AoE farming spec, or a combat rogue who went combat for leveling, who's ready to go over to subtlety for PvP. I'm going to link in the description below some builds for your class, some cookie cutters, so you can make that switch, whichever path you want to go down. And if you're going down that PvE path, then you're going to want to get started on number 7, Attunements and Dungeon Keys. There are keys for dungeons like Stratholm, Skolomance, Dire Maul, and Upper Blackrock Spire. You're going to want to get all those keys. It's going to make you super valuable when looking for a group. It's going to basically secure your spot if no one else has a key. Now, rogues can open certain locks, but, you know, these keys are basically going to be just as valuable if you're not a rogue. And then you're also going to want to work on attunements. Now, if you're familiar with TBC, attunements are crazy. They're everywhere. There's so many to do. Well, in classic WoW, vanilla WoW, it's a little more straightforward. There's really only a few attunements, and they're mostly easy. For MC, all you gotta do is do a BRD run and click a rock. Then for BWL, you just kill an orc and then click a shiny rock. And then for Nax, to get you just gotta get exalted with the Argent Crusade and then turn in a quest. But for Onyxia, oh my goodness, don't even get started. This is a crazy long quest chain for both Horde and Alliance. I would actually recommend get the Attune add-on. It's going to help you figure out that long quest chain. If you are prone to getting lost or confused, it's going to help you all along the way to get that attunement complete. And that's it. Congrats on level 60, man.